Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Okay, this is the third round draw of the 25th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. There were 17 of you, I believe, in the last round. Now we're down to 10, which not too bad on elimination rate last time. Most of you survived, but just to run through those names again, we have or A like my arse off an AZ, however you pronounce it. Costradamus, Dr. Maxis 2, Foghorn Sam, It's Your Boy SB, Jack Soto, Mule Floyd, Piggy Bank, Rigno, and all the way down the bottom here we have Ex-Con Chris. Okay, so there are 10 lucky bastards remaining in this one. And for the third round, we've got UFC Fight Night, Petillon versus Davison Figueiredo. And for this one, it's to be honest, I had no clue when I first heard about this, who I fancied for it, but because quite frankly, I just associate them with two completely different divisions. But I am slowly getting used to the idea of Figueiredo being a bantamweight, and more than I think about it, I reckon he's actually going to get it done tonight, or well, in about 7 hours. This is over in China, but yeah, I think he's going to get it done. Because I've been impressed with what I've seen of him since moving up. Definitely seems to be the right call for him. He's already beaten Vera Garbrandt and Rob Font as well. So he's picked up a few decent wins as he climbs the rankings. As for Petillon, on the other hand, he's little bit of a downturn, hasn't he, since all kind of started with that first loss to Aljamain Sterling. But yeah, it's been a bit of a rough ride since then. He does have that win the last time out though against Yadong Song, so he's still very competitive. But overall, I think Figueiredo's just got the slight edge in this one, so I've gone with Davison Figueiredo by decision. But anyway, you're not here to listen to me ramble, or at least not more than I have to. So we're going to start with the draw now. First up is A. Let's see who he gets drawn with. And he gets Ming Yang Zhang. Probably haven't pronounced that one right, but Ming Yang Zhang. Um, or A there. Sorry about mispronouncing that one, but trouble is there's a lot of Chinese fighters, so there's probably going to be quite a few on the cards which I'm going to completely butcher. So apologies in advance as well to any other fighters. But as for Ming Yang Zhang, I've got him by first round knockout against Ozzy Diaz. Well, it's been a bit of a KO artist up until this point. It's a little bit questionable, some of the opponents on this record, but having said that, against Ozzy Diaz, I think, yeah, I'm not sure that. I'm not 100% sure exactly how far Ming Yang Zhang is going to go in the UFC, but I think he is good enough to get past Ozzy Diaz. I don't think he's going to be the guy that's really going to give him his first serious test. And obviously, Zhang's got more experience on his side as well, 17 wins, 6 losses. So even though he might not have necessarily been fighting the best quality of opponents over in China, he's definitely been getting up the in cage experience. So certainly compared to Ozzy Diaz anyway, who not been he's not bad, but I've not been overly impressed with, to be honest. I just can't see him offering up too much against Zhang here, to be honest. So all in all, quite a decent pick there for A. Okay, we move on now to Costradamus. Let's see who Costradamus is going to be drawn with. And he gets Long Xiao. Again, apologies if I've pronounced that bit right. I'm confident I got the long part right, but I've no idea about the surname. Xiao or something like that. But and I've got him to win by a decision here in his fight against Quang Li, who so simply because Zhao's way more experienced. He got 26 fights, 26 wins, 9 losses. So that's uh yeah, so that's 35 fights already in his career, and he's only 26. Uh so that's I mean it's quite an insane record when you think about it from that point of view. Um Obviously I'm not 100%, not overly familiar with him, other really than his UFC debut, which he lost on. But having said that, Kwang Lee is also in a similar situation, also having lost his UFC debut. Uh, Certainly, in terms of number of fights, there's a huge discrepancy. It was Lee having 8 wins and 1 loss, so 9 fights compared to 35 fights. And that experience is the main reason I've gone with Zhao, even though Lee's had a decent run in the LFA, which certainly good pedigree coming into the UFC. But I think that's just too much more experience to ignore there. So Long Zhao for a decision wins my pick. So that's 2 decent picks. I reckon the wheel has thrown up so far. Okay, Dr. Maxis 2 is next to take on the wheel. Let's see who he's been picked with. He's guessing Mahas hates Hayasia. And again, I know I've butchered that one 100%, so apologies for that. Mah, how are we spelling that one either? Mahate ES. Know which one I mean. Hey, say, well, that was a mouthful. But at least we won't have to wait too long to learn his fate, as he's up against Nicholas Motta on the very first fight on the card. And I got Motta to win this one by 2nd round knockout. I've been very impressed with what I've seen of him so far in the UFC. Particularly once he's hurt his opponent, he's very good at sensing a finish. He's very quick to once his opponent's on the ground and hurt, he's very quick to jump onto them and finish them off with strikes and grounds and pounds with the. So he's got that natural kind of killer's instinct, which you always need. Which surprisingly, I say a lot of. It seems to me a lot of prospects tend to hesitate a little bit sometimes with that, or either that or they make the mistake of they rush in too early and get caught out. But Nicholas Motta definitely seems to have a good judgment of when to go for the finish and when it is the right time to go for the finish. He certainly doesn't hesitate. And fighters with that kind of natural instinct are always very dangerous to fight against. And yeah, I think that's going to prove to be far too much for Mahest Hatsi Hayesaya. Again, apologies for butchering the name there. If he comes up again, I'm probably just going to refer to him as MH because I've no idea how you pronounce that. Okay, Foghorn Sam is next to take on the wheel. Let's see who's going to be in his corner for in a few hours' time. And he also gets Mingyang Zhang, just like A earlier in the video. Once the Excel sheet loads back onto the page. There we go. It's loaded now. Yeah, so yeah, as I was saying earlier anyway about Ming Yang Shang, 1st round knockout. I say he's floored all of his opponents basically over on China, and yeah, it's just a case of can he continue that in the UFC? I think if he is, then I think Aussie Diaz is a good place to start, really, because I just can't see how what kind of what kind of a fight what Aussie Deers can really do to nullify that. So I think Zhang has a rather low ceiling potentially in the UFC, but it's higher than Aussie Diaz. So again, just like with A, that's two riding on Zhang, by the way, Foghorn Sam and A. So that's two that I reckon should have a decent chance of getting through. Okay, it's your boy SB is next to learn his fate at the hands of the wheel. So let's see who's we've got in store. Oh, yeah, got a head-to-head here because we've got Nicholas Motta. Nicholas Motta there for it's your boy SB. Who I've just mentioned is up against MH. And as I was saying, just been very impressed so far by Motta. Uh, yeah, not really a lot else I can add to add today. He's only had about I think 5 fights in the UFC, 4 or 5, something like that. But and even though he has already been beaten a couple of times, but he's shown good promise in those fights, and I think I say just as if he takes it a little bit slow in terms of how they build him up, I reckon he could be around in the UFC for a little while. Maybe if puts a little run together and potentially challenging the lightweight rankings eventually. It's a long wait. It's a long road to the lightweight rankings, given how stacked the division is. But if he puts together 2 or 3 good wins every year or so, he'll be there eventually. So anyway, that's in terms of the Lucky Bastard game. Anyway, that is Dr. Maxis 2 up against It's Your Boy SB. So I suppose that's our Lucky Bastard main event so far. We've got five down, 5 to go in this draw. So we'll see what the wheel has in store for our remaining Lucky Bastards. See if there's any more added to that one or if any other fights become a bit more intriguing. But it's Jack Soto next to take on the wheel. Let's see what the wheel has in store for Jack Soto. And he gets one of the main eventers, Petr Yan. Petr Yan there for Jack Soto. Always a crowd favourite. Obviously, he's had a little bit of a rough time as of late, but to his credit, he did win last time against Yudong Song. So he's not completely washed, and he is still competitive in the bantamweight, even if he's not quite the same version of Petr Yan we were seeing a few years ago. But having said that, Davison Figueiredo is going to be a tough test for him. Because Figueiredo is still very much trying to make his mark on the division, and I'm sure that his motivation eventually is get to the title. Called himself two-time UFC champion, 2 division champion. So he's probably already 2-time champion, isn't he? How many times does he have the flyweight belt? It's sort of him and Brandon Moreno are passing it back, fucking past the parcel for a little bit, weren't they? I kind of lost track how many times they'd have each been technically the champion. But yeah, no, I mean the 2 weight champions, what I meant anyway. So yeah, I think with just that, obviously championship pedigree from the flyweight division, which to be fair is way more shallow than bantamweight, of course. So it's debatable how relevant that is. But so far anyway, as he's been climbing up to rankings, he's Isaiah Vera, Garbrandt, Fonts, they're all good wins. So yeah, you can't really ask much more than that. The people the UFC have put in front of him, and he's beaten them. So yeah, can't ask so much more than that. And I reckon he can go one more, certainly against Petr Yan tomorrow night. Or I say no, it's not even tomorrow night. It's at some point tomorrow morning because it's about it's like 1:20 in the morning now. This is going off in about 7 hours, I think. So it'd be around 8, 9-ish in the morning. This thing will be kicking off. I'm at work tomorrow, so I'll no chance of seeing the cards. But yeah, no, it seems weird. I'm gonna have to, instead of saying tomorrow night, because these usually happen about my 11 p.m. on a Saturday evening and then stay up all Saturday night for him. This is complete opposite timeline, almost a solid 24 hours earlier. Anyway, enough of my little rambling there. We have next along, we have got Mule Floyd. Let's see who Mule Floyd is going to get drawn with. It'd be interesting as well in the comments, see what time this is all for you as well. What time this UFC card is going to be going off wherever you are around the world. But Mule Floyd has got Su Young Yu. One of the names I'm a little bit more confident in pronouncing. Su Young Yu. Therefore, Mule Floyd. And I've not one I've picked personally. I've gone with his opponent Balgin Genisuli. Going to win by decision, simply because he's just been putting together a decent little win as of late. 4-fight win streak. He's got a couple of decent submission wins, I noticed. The truth, I've not really been following the road to the UFC all that much, to be completely honest. I've been keeping an eye on it, but I'd be lying if I've said I was rigorously watching an episode every single week. Just been more watching the highlights and watching the full fights of the ones that seemed good. But so yeah, I suppose maybe I'm a casual in that respect, but but yeah, no, it's he certainly seems to put together a little bit of a streak there. As for Su Young Yu, seems a solid opponent. Got a few KO wins, but he does tend to go the distance a lot. Not always a bad thing. Shows he can go the distance. That's one of the biggest hurdles for a lot of fighters trying to prove themselves. Is can they weather the storm, go the distance? It's proven so far he can. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for him. I don't think getting finished is really going to be a problem for him. But yeah, I've gone with Balgin Genisuli for that one. But it's part of their tournament, and that can always throw up funny results as well. Different kind of stakes, and to compare to a normal fight, and you can get some very unexpected results. I certainly, if at the end of the video, I will just say I always sign it off with if you got any bets on this card, good luck with those. I'm just going to say you'd be very brave if you bet in any of the tournament ones, and I'd certainly advise against doing that. But just because they can be so unpredictable. But it's not completely without a shout. Anyway, Mule Floyd's not the one I've gone with personally, but I'm not really the most in the best position to judge how that fight's gone. So we'll find out in a few hours anyway. Okay, Piggy Bank is next to face the wheel. Let's see who he's going to be drawn with. Who's he going to be rooting for in a few hours? Oh, and he is also on the Petillon train here. Once this loads up again. So yeah, him and Jack Soto both with Petillon in the main event. And as I said, he's a little bit of a downturn, but still a solid fighter. Can he? He's certainly going to give him. I was going to say, can he give him a test? Well, of course, he's going to give Figueiredo a test. Petillon's no pushover at all, but I just think that Figueiredo's just got the slightly better record as of late, because obviously Petillon's record throughout his career is very impressive, champion himself. But yeah, this is I think this is probably just coming a little bit late in his career for him. Maybe he's just starting to see the downturn of Petillon, whereas Figueiredo still looks in pretty hot form. So because of that, I'm favouring Figueiredo. But yeah, when you think about it, it's this former champ versus former champ in two different weight classes, and that didn't even occur to me actually until I just mentioned that. Anyway, we've got Rigno is next to learn his fate. Let's see who's going to be in Rigno's corner. And he gets Gabriela Fernandez. Gabriela Fernandez there for Rigno. Gabriela Fernandez. With Fernandez, I'm never sure whether it ends in a Z or an S because there's so many different variants of it. Um, but anyway, as for that fight, women's flyweight, gone with her opponent, Kong Yang, who's so far a little bit green, only 6-0, but is undefeated and got off to a very impressive start on a UFC debut last time, winning by KO. And funny enough, she also came to the UFC via the Road to UFC competition. So it certainly proves that they can produce good prospects for the UFC. But yeah, just I'll say just a little bit green. Now, only 6 fights into her career. It was an impressive win last time, but how far can she go in it in the UFC? But then, having said that, Gabriela Fernandez, she's 9 wins and 3 losses. She's certainly getting into sort of the middle part of her career, but she's not exactly a seasoned veteran or anything just yet. 1 and 2 in the UFC. This also comes through the LFA as well, so that's credit where it's due. But yeah, an interesting test for Kong Wang. See if certainly a slightly higher opponent than the last fights, but if she just puts Fernandez away like she did last time, then yeah, definitely a real prospect to keep an eye out for. But Rigno's got the slightly less desirable side of that draw, I'm afraid, with Gabriela Fernandez. And finally, we have Ex-Con Chris. Let's see who the wheel's going to give Ex-Con Chris to finish off this Chinese card. That was a very half-hearted spin from the wheel, but he gets Ming Shi. Ming Shi there for Ex-Con Chris. It's and another one of undefeated prospects. Seems to be a few of them dotted around the card actually, 8-0. So I've gone with him, but of course by decision win. He's up against Xiao Can Feng. Again, I apologize for butchering that name as I have so often in this video with the Chinese names. Simply because I mostly know Xiao Kang Feng from Cage Warriors, where I just remember him getting knocked out in. And well, Ming Shi, he's got some decent KO wins on his records. You're probably thinking then, right, Steve, why are you not going with a KO win for Ming Shi? Simply because I just think that there's difference in the skill level between some of the ones that Ming Shi had fought on his record compared to Feng. It's just slightly lower than what Feng has fought. I mean, at least he's actually. I'm biased, obviously, because I am quite a big Cage Warriors fan, but I do rate anyone on that show, even if they do get knocked out. But yeah, I just got a feeling it's going to be, even though it's a sort of and one with power versus one that's already had their chin cracked, it's not necessarily going to work out that way. Plus, it was only once, and that was a good couple of years ago now. So I'm not sure how much bearing that would really have on this particular fight. But anyway, that concludes our draw. Just once it gets back to the Excel sheet, once it comes on, I'll just run through those names one more time. Okay, so we have A with Mingyang Zhang, Kostradamus with Long Xiao, Dr. Maxis 2 with Mahashati Hayasea, Foghorn Sam also with Mingyang Zhang, It's Your Boy SB with Nicholas Motta, Jack Soto with Petter Yarn, Mule Floyd with Su Young Yu, Piggy Bank with Petter Yarn as well, Rigno with Gabriela Fernandez, and Ex-Con Chris with Ming Shi. Just apologize once again to all those who I have completely butchered the name of. Although, of course, any regular viewers of these videos will be very familiar with the fact that I can barely speak English, let alone Chinese. Um, so I guess that all that leaves me to say is good luck in a few hours. It's probably about 6 hours or so time now. So yeah, good luck with those. Good luck to all the lucky bastards, of course. And of course, if you've got any bets on this card, good luck with those as well. And until next week, I'm sure there'll still be a few of you around next week. I'm pretty confident there's going to be a fourth round here. So long for now.